that concept in a specific book and try to relate a 2020 paper, and lots of people could not attempt that question. So for example, if you're going through that previous year question paper, if you just go home and look for, say, when did the Mongols come to India, how many times did they come, who was the ruler there, so at that time you do that. Even if you didn't answer that question that time, in 2021 another question on Mongols came, so the topic was the same. There were slight differences in how the question was framed, and obviously the question was also slightly different. But if someone had gone back and analyzed that previous year question paper, he or she would have been able to answer that question this year. Similarly for polity, certain questions on, say, the right to privacy, which fundamental right it is, these questions have been repeated verbatim, like in 2 years or 3 years. So make sure that you use your previous year question papers as a guide in terms of the language of questions, how options are framed, in terms of subject content. So this thing definitely helped me. Especially, I think, for history, certain sections, say Buddhism, Jainism, I prepared separate notes for that. So use previous year question papers if there are certain sections which, there are like loopholes or lapses in your preparation. Make sure that you prepare notes of those specific sections, 1-page or 2-page notes, which you find in the previous year question papers, but not anywhere else. So that was really helpful for me. So that is something that I personally suggest you can do and you should do. And some other people who score really good marks in prelims have also advised me to do. Thirdly is mock tests. So if, for example, if you complete a certain subject, you can go back and prepare and attempt a sectional test of that specific subject. It will really help you for revision and also evaluating yourself, because sometimes you read something but it's not really imbibed by you, so you can attempt mock tests of that particular sectional. Secondly, it also helps you in figuring out how many to attempt. I personally feel not in terms of, say, sectional paper, but towards the end those complete mock tests come, including all papers. So if you attempt, say, 20 papers of that sort, so what works for you also, sometimes and when you're analyzing those questions, try to see how many of those that you attempt. You get to know if your tukkebazi is something which is working or not, right? So that is something that you can analyze based on both these mock tests as well as attempting of previous year question papers. So at the end, say 1 week before the final examination, the last 3 or 4 years question papers, previous year question papers, try to attempt in those 2 hours and see how many of you are getting how many right. Right. Another thing that I tried to do towards the end was making a small prelims booklet. So that was just one booklet that I had for very quick revision. So for example, if there's some mock test that I attempted and then realized that, sometimes questions are not asked clearly from the static papers in terms of what sort of questions are asked from each section of the paper is also something that is very important. Similarly for ethics, the nature of questions, sometimes you get to know case studies if you